And welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. Steve Malzberg with you. Joining me now, the one, the only, Larry Kudlow, Newsmax finance insider, CNBC contributor, of course, and host of the Larry Kudlow Show on Cumulus Radio. Check your local listings. That show airs on Saturday. And author of JFK and the Reagan Revolution. Hello, sir.
Hey, Steve. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So exciting stuff going on. First, let me get your impressions of what Donald Trump had to say in Warsaw before he left for the G20. He addressed, I think, everything, every note he had to hit. I thought he hit.
I did too. I thought it was an excellent speech, and it was a tough speech. It was a freedom speech. He's getting around to the pro-NATO position again, but it's also tough with respect to the lead into the meeting with Putin, and maybe we'll get a little better. The early returns with Angela Merkel look a little bit better than they had the last time around. I'm not necessarily condoning her. I'm just saying it looks like there may be better relations there. But the big topic, hovering over this G20 meeting is North Korea. I mean, there's trade and there's a lot of other issues, but North Korea has suddenly become the #1 issue.
All right, well, let me talk about the first Putin with you. We're about 24 hours or less away from that as we speak. What do you expect to happen? And you said a tough speech leading into Putin. How does it set the table, and what do you expect?
Well, I think he's, signaling Putin that he's going to be very tough. He's going to be tough with respect to all their relationships, and he's saying to Putin, "Look, pal, you got to start coming to the table and playing ball with us. Whether it's the Crimea, whether it's the Ukraine, whether it's Poland, whether it's Eastern Europe, whether it's Syria, and also North Korea." People may not realize this, but Russia has a fair amount of trade with North Korea. So in all those areas, whether it's the Middle East or Europe or Ukraine, whatever, Korea, you're going to see tough. Trump is saying, we're going to be tough. You haven't done anything. There's no movement. And the economic sanctions against you are very much in play. And you're going to have to give us a reason not to have the economic sanctions. And so far, he hasn't seen that reason, Trump is. So I expect toughness. I really do. Probably tougher than anybody would have thought 6 months ago.
And what do you expect Putin? How do you expect Putin will react to toughness?
Well, that's a very interesting question.
Take his shirt off and say, "Who's more macho?"
That's a very interesting question. Look, nobody can predict Vladimir Putin, for heaven's sakes, but I think that Putin has just got to realize that, first of all, Trump is not Obama, okay? That's a key point right there. And that may be particularly the case with Korea, but it's certainly the case with the Crimea and economic sanctions. I know Obama put the sanctions on, but it was right at the very end of his administration. That's not going to change unless Putin has a more conciliatory role to play in these discussions. What's Putin going to bring to the table? I think Trump wants to know. I think the whole world wants to know. Russia's in trouble. Oil prices are falling again. Their economy is in a shambles. All they have is their military. No one even knows if they can service their military properly. So I think Putin comes from a position of weakness, and I think Trump is telling him, you're either going to play ball with us or you're going to have some important consequences.
Very interesting. All right, North Korea. What the heck do we do about North Korea? I saw this report yesterday that Russia and China are going to join forces and solve the North Korea problem.
Yep.
But, Trump, I assume, is correct when he talks about how China has increased trade with North Korea, tremendously in the past year. So that's not going to help.
That's correct. China has not delivered on any of its promises of a few months ago when they met in Mar-a-Lago. They have not delivered on trade. They've not delivered on anything that I can really see, to be honest. So, look, I'm going to ask, here, first, the United States cannot rely on China or Russia. We're not going to go in and bomb North Korea. I think that's really highly, highly, highly unlikely. However, Steve, let me suggest the following. U.S. has got to do all it can with government funding of our investment in missile defense. Okay, you know, I was around when Reagan started this so-called SDI, Strategic Defense Initiative. He was mocked for it. Star Wars was a derogatory term.
Right.
Fact of the matter is, Reagan was exactly right. You know, peace through strength. We've got to be able to defend ourselves. Now, with respect to the Korean story, our triad, you know, which is land, air, and sea-based missile defenses, has to be beefed up. We should invest as much as possible for this key element, because the time may not be far off when we decide, the United States decides, that we are going to have to intercept and take out these China missiles, ICBMs and whatnot, or perhaps, maybe less likely, but perhaps we want to go and hit the missiles before the launch, because we know where the launch sites are.
You mean the North Korean missiles and sites? Yeah.
I'm sorry, North Korea.
That's okay.
And I think that those are difficult options, but it's coming. We're going to have to defend ourselves. We're not a paper tiger. I think Trump's going to make this clearer and clearer over time. If Korea wants to launch these things, we'll intercept them and knock them off. And we may want to even go and be even tougher and go right to their bomb sites, to their launch sites, if we see from our radar and intelligence that something's going to happen. In other words, we will at some point take action. I just believe that. I don't think we're going to invade. I don't think we're going to bomb them, but I think we may intercept their missiles, or we may get them before they lift off the ground. I'm surprised more people aren't talking about this.
Let me ask you this. The job numbers come out tomorrow. I'm sick of trusting ADP, but nonetheless, they say 158,000. The expectation was 185,000. Now I'm reading stories on CNBC.com. One story by Nelson Schwartz is a Trump bump for the U.S. economy shrinking along with growth forecasts. And, where are we? And add into the mix that the National Economic Council Director, Mr. Gary Cohn, apparently or reportedly is getting and gaining more influence.
Well, look, the economy is kind of ambiguous, ambivalent. I don't see any big changes one way or the other. We're still growing around 2%. It's hard to forecast these monthly jobs reports. I don't expect any home runs. I don't expect any strikeouts either. There is no evidence that the key component of business investment, which leads directly to productivity and higher wages and better jobs, that's not moving. Business investment is not moving. And to me, that means we should be much more urgent, really light a fire under our efforts to get business tax cuts, what Steve Moore and I have been calling 3 easy pieces, okay? Get the corporate rate down to 15%, immediate expensing of new equipment, and the repatriation of the cash overseas, American cash overseas. Boom, boom, boom. The Congress should be in session. There should be no August recess vacation. We need the roughly 25 legislative calendar days in August to get the business tax cuts. They probably should be broken off from the larger tax package on individuals, because that's going to take a long time. If you want to spur growth, slash taxes on large and small businesses. That includes the pass-throughs and so forth. And I, frankly, would get a business tax cut grafted on to the reconciliation package for health care. I think they are going to get a health care deal in July, but then I think they should run through the business tax cuts. They can do it fast. The whole Republican Party agrees on the business tax cuts, okay?
Right.
They agree on that. And the other stuff for the individuals, the broader reforms, there is not agreement yet. Let's go where the growth would be greatest, and that is becoming competitive again globally. And let's get these business tax cuts done. I just think that's the most important, urgent issue, and we don't have to wait. We can get it done by summer with reconciliation, including health care, okay? Let's let reconciliation, 51 votes in the Senate, work for us and this pro-growth package.
Sounds good. It's a plan, and I'm going to call the House and the Senate back into session. How's that?
Yes. No vacay.
No vacay.
I call it stay-cay.
Stay-cay.
We're going to stay at home this summer, and we're all going to work like we're supposed to, and that includes the House and the Senate.
Wouldn't that be nice? Well, yeah, for a change is right. Larry, great to talk to you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Larry Kudlow, ladies and gentlemen. All right, remember, always stay informed and connected and find out what's going on with Newsmax Television at newsmaxtv.com. And, of course, the website, newsmax.com.